Hi, due to today's thought, you very well may have seen the video that I'm about to show you. You almost certainly have if you visit the conservative websites, because it's been on at least several that I've visited. But I don't want to take any chances, because if you haven't seen it, this is a must-see. And, well, I'll have some comments on the video, but let's show the video first. So here it is. It's J.D. Vance on ABC being interviewed. Well, I should put that in quotes. You'll see why. Interviewed by Martha Raddatz.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border? Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting, because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said, rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Here are my thoughts about what you just saw. You may already have had some of these thoughts already, but there is so much that is exposed by that video that you just saw. Number one, the reason I put interview in quotes, Martha Raddatz is clearly advocating for Kamala Harris in the most ridiculous way, which we will get to in a moment. But she's not an objective journalist, and she's arguing with him. Now, it's understandable that sometimes you'll have somebody an interviewee will say something, and then the interviewer will have just follow up on that, have a follow-up question. But she is clearly trying to defend, Venezuelan criminal gangs, Tren de Aragua, taking over apartment buildings in the United States, in Aurora, Colorado. I don't know how you can defend that at all. Well, let me modify that a little bit. Not defending, minimizing. That term definitely fits. Trying to minimize that, to say that it doesn't really matter, or that J.D. Vance is overstating the problem because only a few apartment buildings. I mean, imagine if you're one of the residents of those apartment buildings, the ones who've been terrorized, have had to move out, and you're seeing this on, I don't know how that's one of the things that is so puzzling to me. I don't know how a partisan Democrat, which is what Martha Raddatz obviously is, she's just shown that, which will be another comment I'll get to in a moment, but I don't know how she can possibly believe that is going to help Kamala Harris, help the Democrats, Democrats win the election, because it is so, number one, it's so patently ridiculous. Number two, it shows how little we'll have to assume she's a Democrat. I don't think she's unique. So how Democrats are supposed to care about the little guy, how callous she is to no concern at all about the people who are the victims of these gangs. Just, not a big deal, only a few apartment buildings, and misses the point. I mean, you have all these crimes of unlawful aliens that have come into the country, and murdered people, and they say, well, I mean, somebody could say, well, it's only a few murders compared to all the murders that we're seeing in Democrat-run cities mostly, but that's another subject for another day. The point is that these are people who, if Trump's policies on the border had been in place, these people would not have been in the country. And she doesn't seem to want to talk. She doesn't understand. Trump has said this numerous times, and he's absolutely right. And there's actually a precedent for this. Does anybody remember the Marietta boat lift, where you had these flotillas coming from Cuba across the water into the United States, into Florida? Now, occasionally you have a refugee, you have somebody gets on a boat, but Castro was opening the floodgate to let these people go, because among those people were a lot of criminals in the Cuban prisons, and he wanted to. It was worth it to him to get these people. Number one, the people fleeing Cuba are people who would oppose the Castro government. Number one. Number two, again, emptying out the prisoners, say, well, it won't be our problem anymore. Flood them into the United States, and it hurts the United States, and that's exactly what's happening today in Venezuela and the Congo. Especially, we can focus on that. Gets to most of the news. Venezuela, Tren de Aragua. Whoever heard of them? Whoever heard of them before Joe Biden became president? Nobody, because they were not in the country. Where were they? They were in Venezuela. And where were they in Venezuela? They were in prison. Tren de Aragua was formed in a Venezuelan prison. That's where it was formed. Maduro, thanks to Joe Biden, was able to ship them directly from the prison to the United States. And so their crime rate has gone down in that country because, because not just the Tren de Aragua, but all their prisoners, they're letting them out. And as a matter of logic, Tren de Aragua, forgive my terrible pronunciation, but if they're in prison, then they're obviously not committing crime, so that would not affect the crime rate. So Trump is a little wrong on that, I would think. I haven't looked into it, but you have other criminals who are not in prison, and you're just letting them go. I mean, if you are a criminal and you want to rob and steal, where is it better to rob and steal between Venezuela and the United States? I mean, the United States is a richer country, obviously, just like anybody else. An honest person emigrating to the United States to work because there are better opportunities there. Well, there are better opportunities for criminals, too, in the United States, and they are coming into the country in these numbers because the Biden administration, including Kamala Harris, deliberately opened the borders. They can deny it all they want, but there is I don't know why nobody does this in the mainstream media. You can just play the tape. As soon as it was announced that Biden had won the election, been declared the winner, you immediately saw these giant caravans being formed and wearing T-shirts, with Biden right on the T-shirt, and I think it was "Thank you, Joe Biden" or something. But there's no doubt that Joe Biden is responsible for these people coming into the country. But Martha Raddatz, like all Democrats, or most Democrats, they don't care about that. What they want is power. And the problem is, I just saw today another report, the latest one, that Hispanics are shifting more to the Republicans. I think Trump is doing better among Hispanics than any Republican president has ever done. He's doing very well. It's not a record, but he's doing much better with black voters, especially black male voters. Not as much as the black vote went in the the 1960, I think since 1960 it is. And then there was a time after the Civil War, before around Roosevelt, that black voters voted overwhelmingly for Republicans. So to those of you who are coming to the Republicans now, I guess the Republicans, I'm an independent, but I'm conservative, but I'm an independent. But the Republicans could say, welcome back. But this shows how, what you just saw shows how little they care about the average person, that they, that's their whole philosophy, that we're all ignorant sheep and we have to be governed by experts who know what's good for us, and we'll resent it and we'll hate it. We'll hate being deprived of some of our freedoms. We'll hate not having the economic problem, opportunities that we had before. But in the end, we will thank them. We will thank them because we will all be, because there will be equity. Okay, we will be those of us who are exceptionally smart. I don't include myself, but the Elon Musks of the world, those people, they will be, their chances of advancing the chances of people who are the best and brightest among us to advance themselves will be. They'll have the lead shoes put on their feet, but that's okay because of equity, And in fact, there was a city government. I just read it today. I'm not going to look it up which one it was, but somebody, an official, a diversity official, was criticizing, I think they suspended somebody for some city agency because he was hiring on merit and not to promote diversity, and that diversity had to be put first, and he wasn't doing that. So, I guess I can go. I guess I'm on a real roll today. But anyways, you saw the video, so I'll just sign off now. If you stuck with me till now, I appreciate it. But and thanks a lot for sticking around. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it, or anything you think would benefit from it. I don't know, any inanimate object that would benefit from my wisdom, and maybe your pet rock if you have one. Comments always welcome for you or your pet rock in the comment section below the video. And most of all, come back and see me again. I love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.